All right, next up, we have John Feltz. John Feltz is a Northern California Northwest representative for Motiv Power Systems. John graduated from UC Davis with a major in mechanical engineering and a minor in electrical engineering with the intention of entering the automotive industry as a design engineer. After a 20-year detour into the data and telecom world, John transitioned into the electric vehicle industry, for which he holds a great passion. John is an EV hobbyist and advocate. I was going to say lobbyist, probably that too. He is also the author of the children's book, The Sky Paints Us Pictures. John lives in Folsom, California with his wife, 2 sons, 2 dogs, and best part yet, pet pig. All right.
Like you said, I work for Motiv. I'm the Northwest rep. I cover from Bakersfield to Anchorage and all the way out to the Dakotas. But really, truly, all of our business is here in Northern California right now, specifically because we do have the incentives available for us. So thank you very much for talking about the buses, because one of my favorite things about this job is whenever someone asks me what I do, I say, I sell school buses. And everyone goes, what? Yeah, I sell school buses, electric school buses, and then it gets a lot more interesting. So this is our newest bus coming out. That's a Collins-bodied bus. We build more than school buses, though. We build in the mid-duty range, and what we really do is build the chassis. I'll get into that in a moment. But we're not going to build cars. There's some companies out here representing that market, and they're doing a great job at it. We're not going to build big rigs. There are companies that do that. It's not in our game plan. So we're going to make the mid-duty vehicles that range from, we have a garbage truck on here, but we're not going to talk about that one. They range from school buses to shuttle buses. We have some UPS, or some FedEx and some Postal Service vans out there now. And a little bit about our history. In 2013, we started, or our inception was 2009, 2012, we got our first real powertrain out there. 2013, we put our first bus out. So these buses have been out for a while, actually. In 2014, like I said, we made some garbage trucks. They are far too complicated to run on electricity right now. It's coming. But again, that's someone else's job. In 2015, we launched our E450 Google shuttle buses. Anybody here from Mountain View? I know some of you work in Mountain View. We have these buses running around bi-directional in Mountain View. They say Google down the side. It was a genius marketing play by Google. They're free for everybody to get on, and they've been in service for 4 years now, still going strong. At the same time, Ameripride, who's a linen company, bought a couple of our vans for a pilot. They've since added quite a few, and they're running 31 vans. So for fleets that are serious about going electric, there are examples out there, and I'm happy to share them with you. If anyone's interested in talking to fleet managers, just hit me up. We are CARB approved as of 2016. And in 2017, we got our Ford EQVM, which means Ford validates what we do. They warranty the chassis that we sell. And we were the industry first. There are a couple others out there now as well. And in 2018, we added a couple of different partners. The most important one for me being Winnebago, because I think that's the coolest thing ever. We have an electric RV. A couple years ago, I was on my way up to Tahoe, and I saw the Tesla 18-wheeler on the road. And I actually turned around and came back and went and talked to the guys because I had to see it and touch that thing up close. And the first thing I said was, they're going to be able to make an electric RV. And sure enough, here we go. That was before I worked at Motiv. But it was super cool, and now we do have, now nobody's taking this thing camping, by the way. It's an outreach program, mobile dental unit, lung screening unit, that sort of thing. Hopefully Blood Source will pick up a couple of them and replace those old diesel buses that they had in the 80s when I was in high school. Literally some of them. As I said before, we make an electric chassis. So for you fleet operators out there, we build the chassis. We build the rest of the vehicle too, but we have been talking to some people about just selling the chassis. If Caltrans wants to buy 100 chassis and put bucket trucks on them because they do that themselves, then they can do that. That's totally fine. We build E450 is probably our most popular. We have one right out here. The yellow school bus is built on an E450 cab over chassis. The other ones are strip chassis. Thing to point out here is the Epic 6 is now coming with BMW i3 batteries. They are lithium-ion batteries. It gives a little more stable platform for us. And we'll talk about this later, but they are mass-produced and they are not incredibly cheap. They're a lot cheaper than previous models. So something you will see is the prices are coming down, energy density is going up. This is an example of the vehicles that we make. I think we should get a trolley for Old Town here to cruise around and help alleviate parking, pick people up and drop them off. But we don't have one yet. We have a couple school buses on here. Like I said, there's one out here. Twin Rivers is in the house. Thank you guys for bringing that bus. They've got 8 of our little buses, our Type A's. I mentioned Ameripride. Bimbo Bread is just purchased 5 of these step vans. It's the one there in the middle. And we make a work truck, and we recently released the United Postal Service vans. We have 7 vans in Fresno. They're doing a pilot there. If that goes well, then you should see more electric vans running around, hopefully here in Sacramento, as well as the Central Valley. And don't forget the Winnebago. That's obviously my favorite. One of the reasons that fleets do go this route, we talked about the electricity costs coming down. It's cheaper fuel-wise, but maintenance is a huge, huge savings. There's less belts. We have only one belt on our vehicles. No oil changes, no transmission changes. Brake wear is better. Twin Rivers maintenance people tell me that tire wear is better. Now, that doesn't make sense because you're a slightly heavier vehicle, but the center of gravity being in where it is in the vehicle is saving them a lot of tread wear on the front tires, especially. And then traction control on the back tires, anti-slip. That helps as well. You cut down on air filters, and of course, there's no spark plugs. I'll briefly say that we have telematics capabilities. We can pull data from the vehicles wirelessly and do updates on the software wirelessly as well. It's not over the air like cellular like Tesla, but we haven't seen the need for that yet. Most of our vehicles come home every night and they can get on Wi-Fi and shoot information back and forth. For the policy people in the house, the importance of that is you can, if you gave an HVIP grant to a certain area, you can make sure that it stays in that area, or a CCAT grant, or whichever other grant is available. And on my last slide, here's a case study of Twin Rivers School Bus. We actually have 11 here in Sacramento, and we're hoping to deploy a few more this year, quite a few more. You've had these for 2 years now? Yeah. These have been out in the wild for 2 years. These particular buses have routes between 40 and 60 miles. And like they said, they go out in the morning, they come back, they charge a little more, and they go back out later in the day. We have 30,000 miles to date on these particular vehicles. Probably more than that. Actually, this slide's a little bit old, so we're probably up around 40,000. And we've had mostly positive feedback on them, and we've got some drivers in the house. In case, I don't want to throw you under the bus, so to speak. And that's it from me. Thank you.